This is how we do it in Wisconsin. We do the podcast. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for stopping by, checking out the show this evening. It is Weed Nest Day. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully, your week is going smooth out there. We've got folks here on the ball already. We got Jill and Randy. Thanks for stopping out. Heather's in the house. Much love, guys. Super appreciate you swinging by. We do have some good news in the articles this evening, so that is awesome. We always got some baloney like usual, but we also got some good news. Some news I could have used a while ago. So we got Heath in the house as well. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. Before we get rolling too hardcore, let's make sure we get the brand situated here across the screen. We've got the POTcast overlay. Boom. There it is. Lights, cameras, everything's on now. Everybody's home. Bob's home. Are you home? I'm home. I'm here. We're ready. We're in the compound. Shout out to Let's Legalize Wisconsin for being the movement that we are all a part of. And you guys being a part of that, keeping things flowing as far as obviously just working with politicians and talking to them and trying to figure out how we're moving forward can get pretty frustrating. And I know it does for you guys too. But together, we're just going to keep educating, keep growing, keep getting the voices together, and we're going to figure this out. So we will not be the last one, I promise. Jesus in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate you, bro. Quick shout out to the folks who make this thing possible. That's going to be our friends in the UP, Higher Love. Much love to Higher Love. If you haven't got a chance to stop out there, please make sure you do. I have a feeling you will be back after you use the promo code. Please make sure you use it. Get you 15% off. Hooks it up. Take care of that gas mileage on the way there. But no, they got the deli style flour. They've got any product you can think of. The knowledgeable bartenders are there to help you figure out what works best for you. Please make sure you check them out. Great products up there. Much love to them. Also, if you're looking for products here in Wisconsin, you want to stay with the legal hemp situation, we'll just call it, where the products feel like they're from Michigan, but they're technically legal. Please make sure you check out our great friends at Ignite Dispensary. Talk about knowledgeable staff, quality products as well. They do their due diligence. There's a lot of unfortunate hemp out there that with being no regulation, that can be pretty sketchy in that. So if you've tried hemp before, but you haven't tried somebody like Ignite, please make sure you give them a chance. It's a pretty sweet setup that we have here in Wisconsin when you're working with the right folks. All right. So tonight, what Jill says, yeah, right. We'll be the last to leave. I mean, stinking thinking, Jill. Can't be stinking thinking. It's definitely a possibility. I guess I would like to see other states that aren't legal. I would love to kind of know where they're at on the ranking of how things are going with their politicians. Like, are they at least talking about it, but they're just struggling to figure out, the exact percentage of where money's going to go or the exact amount of dispensaries we're going to have. That would be interesting to talk to somebody in some of these other states that aren't legal yet, which is going to be harder and harder to find because even Idaho is legal. Or Ohio is legal. I didn't mean any. Legalize Idaho. They just friend requested, so we're following. We're going to talk to them. They're pretty cool down there. So ask Idaho, how's it going? Uh-oh. Jesus, how'd you know that? Jay's in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. Ask Idaho how that's going. What they got going on over there, man? You have to let me know. All right. We got some interesting stories. First of all, this first story, I feel like we should reach out to them and let them know that we could probably help them clean up the way they discarded this stuff. This layout works, but we're looking for this one right here. So in New York City, right, they they seized 4 tons of illicit green cannabis. I've realized Facebook doesn't like when even over here on the screen, they apparently do this AI look over the screen. So if they see cannabis or marijuana, they freak out too. So we're going to see a lot more green over here on the screen. So 4 tons, and they just had to burn it. That's crazy. I mean, I guess that's one way to dispose of it. But it's kind of crazy. Juanita says it's coming. I hope soon for Wisconsin. Yes, I hope so too. Let's do this thing. Definitely. So New York officials took the field trip to Long Island Wednesday to torch 4 tons or 576 bags of illegal green products local authorities have seized from unlicensed outfits over the past few months. That is a lot of green. The officials, so it looks like the mayor and the sheriff, also announced that the city has shut down over 1,000 of the roughly 4,000 illicit shops. So they still have 3,000. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot going on. Excuse me. Since its last push to close the stores launched in early May, the effort they called Operation Padlock to Protect. Padlock to Protect. Heather says we could help get rid of it, right? That's what I'm saying. Heather would roll all that up for us. It would take her a minute, but she'd get it done. Jill says, that is BS. I agree, Jill. The mountain of illegal green was burned as part of the NYPD's usual process for disposing of illicit substances at the Reworld facility in Nassau County, which purports to turn the burned waste into renewable energy. Hey, Elon, where you at, man? Because I don't think electric cars work that great in Wisconsin. Maybe we could get these things running on, the reefer. That'd be dope. This is a quote. We're gonna destroy illegal cannabis in the city, he said during a news conference before the products were destroyed. It's going to go in our neighborhoods. It's not going to go in our neighborhoods. It's not going to target our children. First of all, we do agree. No, we don't need this stuff around kids. But this guy seems to understand that. Oh, they've got him in like a machinery in this picture here, some kind of like forklift or something. The mayor said they were destroying the products rather than putting them into a landfill in order to prevent them from re-entering the market. The goal is we don't want it recycled back into the communities, he said. You place it in a landfill, you really just open the door of people going back into the landfills and trying to salvage whatever they can. I don't know about that. I mean, what? People go into the landfill, I don't know how landfills work for sure, but I feel like you can't just walk into a landfill and find, well, whatever. The goal is the destruction of the product and not allowing people to just dump it wherever they can. So yeah, here's what he says. The Reworld is the name of the place. The manager said incinerating cannabis products does not impact the facilities surrounding communities, just the workers. They get a little buzz. Green said the facility uses filtration systems that allow it to scrub most of the fumes and expel 99% water vapor into the air. There you go. Juanita says, that's crazy. Who's going to go into the landfill? Exactly. Like, man, that's just disgusting. Like, I picture no scenario in which there is anything remotely clean enough to consume. At that point, if that's just crazy. That's just crazy talk. I think they're going for some political, hey, we're really trying to help the world, or what? I don't know. That's just crazy. Jill says the same thing. I never heard of people going to landfills and collecting cannabis, right? Well, hey, maybe it's a New York thing. Maybe it's a East Coast thing. Maybe it hasn't made its way out here yet. Maybe we should go check. Wonder what's going on in our landfills. Adam said that while the city has shuttered 1,000 shops under its latest enforcement action, it has also inspected over 4,000. The cannabis products seized during the inspections equate to $63 million. Whew. The cannabis products seized during the inspections equate to $63 million. Wowza. Imagine. Yo, if there's $63 million out in that landfill, I'll find a way in there. Maybe this is a legit thing. Does anyone know anyone who works at a landfill? Maybe we can get it in. $63 million. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Whoa. Whole lot of money. And just think, we could be selling that here and getting tax on it and having clean product and safe access. And educate people on it instead of scaring people that it's some bad thing and we all gotta be quiet about using it, and just freaking silly. I've read enough of this story. There's more to it, but we're moving on. We've got the gist of it. Drugs and cannabis in landfills and $63 million worth and lighting it on fire instead. And I don't know. This just was kind of bizarre at this point. So that's New York, folks. That's what they got going on over there. All right. We got some good news. We got to shift gears here. New Maine law lets people seal their cannabis-related criminal records. That sounds pretty smart. Heather, I'm never quiet about it. That is more than fair. Neither am I. But more so just the people who can't use cannabis or get tested. You know what I mean? Most of us here are loud, but if you can't be loud, we get it. But if you're loud, we love you too. Excuse me. If you need a blanket, Heather makes really cool ones. Harper is super excited. All right. New Maine law. Here we go. Let's see what we got. More people in Maine gained the ability to seal their criminal histories earlier this month. Two laws took effect on August 9th. One removed the age-related prerequisite for sealing criminal history, and the other allows people to apply to get their criminal histories for now legal crimes sealed. This is going to be a quote here. This is a great first step for people to clean the slate in terms of their history for employment, as well as other purposes, said criminal defense attorney Matthew Morgan. Morgan did note that it is important for people to understand the fine print of post-judgment sealing process. Oh, here we go. There's always some fine print. There still will be some professional licensing agencies and law enforcement that will be able to access these records, he explains, but otherwise it will be sealed, and people are allowed to indicate they do not have a criminal record based on the sealing. Interesting. Morgan's office has started contacting former clients who they believe to be eligible to apply to get their records sealed under these new laws. They cannot. I wonder if, and we haven't. I feel like we haven't had anything come up from Maine here in a minute, so I don't know if we've touched on this before. But I wonder if they're doing this instead of wiping records. Interesting. They cannot yet estimate how many people will take advantage of their newfound ability to seal criminal histories, given that the changes only took effect this month. In my understanding, when they talk about, wiping your record, I would think that means it's gone. Like, we will not be able to tell that that was ever there. So I wonder if this is in conjunction with that or separate. I guess, let's see if it says in here. The Director of Legal Affairs and Public Relations for Maine declined to provide data on the number of people who have requested to have their records sealed under the new perimeters. Our data analysts are absorbed with their internal projects, and we have been told that they are not available to put together statistics for outside requests until those projects are finished. Starting to feel a little leery here, Mr. Maine, with what you guys are doing over here. But it looks like Maine legalized adult responsible use in 2017. However, the criminal records for possession and cultivation prior to legalization remain. Oh, they haven't figured that out yet out there? What? That sucks. The committee's final meeting is scheduled for November 19th and soliciting public feedback on a number of other potential proposals. Yeah, this is not as good as I thought it was. To me, I feel like if we're gonna legalize something, the past convictions. Now, if somebody got caught with 40 pounds, that's a little different. Like, we gotta be realistic, right? Like, that should maybe carry something. But if we're talking like, most states, how they wipe your record, that's crazy that these guys have been legalized for 7 years and they still haven't figured out a way to do this. That's not good. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maine is working on clearing people's records, but in an interesting way where they seal the records and only certain agencies can see the record. Sounds a little sus, Maine. It sounds like a step in the right direction, but it sounds like they might have a ways to go. But again, you think when you legalize, you'd have this figured out, like part of that plan. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Moving along, this was good or interesting to see. So a cannabis user cannot be banned from gun ownership, a U.S. court ruled. This is one of the topics that has come up quite a bit. With people who register for medical cannabis use, you get put on a list, and then there's been a few instances where one thing leads to another, and it goes to, well, hey, you're not supposed to own a gun because you use cannabis. So something we'll always keep an eye on is what is going on out there in the world of the two. And it looks like U.S. Appeals Court on Wednesday ruled that a pot-smoking gun owner in Texas cannot be prosecuted for violating a federal ban on users of illegal drugs owning firearms, saying it is unconstitutional to disarm her based on her past drug habits. The New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said the prosecution had violated Paola Connolly's right to keep and bear arms under the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment, citing a landmark 2022 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that expanded gun rights. They're quoted here. This is a circuit judge. He's quoted as saying, cannabis user or not, she is a member of our political community and thus has a presumptive right to bear arms. Englehart's, so this gentleman also says that, well, the government may be allowed to bar someone currently under the influence of drugs for having weapons, which would make sense if you're going to go at this from an angle. There's no historical justification for disarming a sober citizen not presently under an impairing influence. Yes, exactly. Let's take this and move this up. Like, more people need to be aware of common sense, which would be something like this, in my opinion. Again, if you, as we know, you shouldn't lose your job if you're working, but you're not high, but because you use it after work and you test positive, it's the same with the firearm. If you, in my opinion, it's no different than using anything else. If I'm on Vicodin or if I'm drinking, I should definitely not be possessing a firearm on my person. Like, it's common sense. The ruling party upheld the judge's decision to toss on Second Amendment grounds all the charges that they had otherwise had Connolly facing. The panel reviewed a separate charge that she violated a ban on transferring firearms to someone using illegal drugs. The U.S. Department of Justice and this lady's attorney did not respond for requests for comment. Interesting. So maybe there's some hope that, we can have common sense laws. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But in this specific case, I would say that is a major win. Excuse me. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And our last story this evening comes to us from the Big Orange Company. So, funny story. The first job that I ever got turned down for due to testing positive for cannabis products was Home Depot. So, maybe they got the memo, because I told them back then this doesn't make any sense that I use cannabis, but I obviously wouldn't use it at work. Didn't matter. I didn't get the job. Well, there was a internal memo that got leaked. So this is what Home Depot corporate sends to the managers of stores. And it was Home Depot will stop testing workers for cannabis and limit drug screening for most employees. Kudos, Home Depot. Home Depot, here's the article here. One of the largest employers in the United States is shifting its employee drug testing policies to remove cannabis from screening panels entirely and stop pre-employment drug testing of most of its workers. And this was a new document that was obtained by MM. The plan changes are set to take effect on September 1st and were sent out in a human resources memo this week, which says that cannabis will be removed from all drug panels in the U.S., including from tests following a workplace accident and in cases where there's reasonable suspicion an employee was prepared. We got Amanda in the house this evening. Thanks for stopping by, Amanda. Appreciate your time. We are just talking about Home Depot and their common sense. And I applaud you, Home Depot, for taking cannabis testing off your panels. Thank you, Home Depot. I got a couple projects in the house. I typically just, whatever I'm feeling that day. I got Fleet Farm. I got Home Depot. Menards are all like the same drive. But you know what? My next big purchase, I'm going to Home Depot because this is awesome. I'm going to talk to their employees about it and be like, hey, are you aware of this? How cool are you guys? Is a place you work for? Common sense. I love it. More broadly, the memo says that pre-employment drug testing going forward will only be conducted for external candidates with contingent offers in asset protection and corporate security. So they're still testing for those specific jobs. The policy changes do not apply to employees regulated through the Federal Department of Transportation. I didn't know that Home Depot has that, but I guess maybe they're truck drivers. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is, but the company is looking into the changes, which are first described publicly in a Reddit post. Looks like the corporate communications department said the company doesn't typically comment on internet rumors. This lady did not immediately respond to multiple follow-up calls and emails on Tuesday, attempting to verify the new HR document. The memo says, though, Home Depot continually evaluates our policies, the external environment, and benchmarks with our companies to ensure we remain competitive while complying with local, state, and federal laws. Word of the policy change first speared following a Reddit post Monday in the subreddit Home Depot. A user said they were told of the new protocol during a morning meeting that day. Pretty cool. I would think we should be seeing a lot more of this across the board. Again, it's just common sense. Like even if your state's not legal, but people travel. I remember, I don't think this is maybe when I didn't get the job at Home Depot, but I just remember like early in my high school, like just trying to understand this whole cannabis and how it's so bad here in the US, and how I had found it, bringing peace and tranquility to my ADHD brain and that. And I remember like, so wait a second, even a football player, if you went to somewhere where it's legal, which at the time wasn't too much in the States, but even if you went to Amsterdam or wherever, you're not breaking a law there. You consume cannabis, but you come back and you test positive, even though you're not high because you did something legal over there, you could lose your job. Like and now that we're talking different states, like it's just silly to do this. Again, if you're driving a forklift and you're stoned or drunk or your Vicodin's got you on cloud 9, that's on you to be written up and get in trouble, right? Like that's fair and just, in my opinion. Now, if we're talking, it's in your system, this is common sense. This makes sense. Hopefully we see a lot more of this. Kudos to Home Depot. It's been a while since we've been able to give kudos out. So kudos to the HD. All right, folks, that's what I got for this evening. Friendly reminder, we've got the Hemp Fest coming up next month, the 28th and the 29th. So we're actually 1 month out. That Saturday, there's going to be a few panels. I will be running those, moderating those. Looking forward to that. And then Sunday is the march to the Capitol. That's going to be right around the 4 o'clock hour. Really looking forward to that as well. Hoping to meet some of you guys in person. And, we got to continue making this noise. So hopefully everyone has a great evening. Thank you again for coming out and being a part of this movement, being a part of this podcast, being a part of this episode. We're going to keep at this because we ain't going nowhere. Wisconsin, we're going to legalize it. We're going to do it, folks. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great evening. We'll catch you Friday night. Stay safe, stay high, stay elevated, stay informed. We'll see you guys later. Bobby Beans out.